accident was not my fault.
When you're injured, you need help fast. Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all nines.
You need someone that's going to fight for you. Call now.
Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all nines.
This man,
their allergy sprays take hours. Now with Astapro Fast Allergy Relief, you can Astapro and go.
There was a sound in the breeze, a song from the trees that whispered through the night. Just an ordinary place, but I held you just in case we travel to the end of time. And I know that I love you.
Yes.
I hear you singing in my mind.
after your accident, who did you call?
I called George Sink.
Why did you call?
To get the money we deserved.
What's the number?
All nines.
Did you get a lot of money?
More than I ever expected.
I got a big check fast.
You gotta get George. Call all nines.
Investigate TV is here, and that's on your side. News 12, first at 5, continues.
A day after more than a dozen buses were vandalized in McDuffie County, we're taking a look at how the school day is running. Plus, one sheriff pushes for answers after a murder-suicide.
She now is going to be the only person who truly knows factually what happened.
More on that investigation out of Ohio with a local connection coming up later in the show. But first, a first alert issued for tonight. We have strong winds moving into the area, and we've already...
Let's get a quick update now on your first alert traffic.
And now, first alert traffic.
All right, going out to Grovetown first, looking at exit 190 here in Lewiston Road. We've been looking at the trees just swaying around like crazy with these breezy conditions so far this afternoon. Luckily, not really impacting traffic, but remember, if you are going to be on the interstate or any area roadways, just try to avoid those high-profile vehicles. Those can definitely be shifted around once these winds start gusting over 35. This is outside of our building, I-20 eastbound lanes. We've seen that slow down a little bit, but not looking like it's a huge concern. And Riverwatch Parkway looking pretty clear here just after 5:30. We'll have much more on that severe weather threat later into tonight, coming up in that full forecast.
All right, Riley, just hours ago, a judge sentenced the disgraced former South Carolina attorney Alec Murdaugh to life in prison. The jurors reaching that verdict in less than 3 hours last night. During the nearly 6-week trial, Murdaugh admitted on the stand he lied to investigators about where he was on the night Maggie and Paul were killed, just moments before their murders. Once court started, lead prosecutor Creighton Waters apologized to the family, saying they have suffered through this tragedy publicly. He even turned around saying how sorry he was again, and John Marvin, Alec's brother, nodded to him. Next, Waters said Alec was a conniving, manipulative man who always put himself first, a reason he asked for the maximum sentence.
And I've looked in his eyes, and he liked to stare me down as he would walk by me during this trial. And I could see the real Alex Murdaugh when he looked at me. The depravity, the callousness, the selfishness of these crimes are stunning. The lack of remorse and the effortless way in which he lies, including here sitting right over there in this witness stand.
Murdaugh is now in Columbia, being housed temporarily at Kirkland Correctional Institution while he is processed. The Corrections Department will determine which maximum security facility he will serve out his time. Tonight at 5, we're working to learn more about McDuffie County vandalism that took out more than 24 school buses. Our Nick Nealon talked to parents today about how they feel about the alternate bus situation.
Well, here is still the aftermath of what happened yesterday when officials say a student entered into the transportation lot behind me and vandalized 23 of the 63 buses. But today, operations were able to go back to normal. With help from Columbia County, they offered up 15 of their district's buses to fill the needs of McDuffie County not being able to operate. A full fleet of buses hit the streets this morning in McDuffie County after a day with limited routes. From parents I talked to today, they said everything went smoothly and according to plan this morning. Now moving forward, James Ingram's concern is with the overall damage of replacing the buses and what the price tag might be.
That's got to cost a lot of money. Just all that damage and destruction, it's really got to cost a lot of money. I don't just wondering how they're gonna find the money to get all this stuff.
And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're working to get more details on what happened Thursday.
All right, thanks, Nick. Well, it happened again. Someone hit the Olive Road Bridge. We knew it was just a matter of time. This time it happened just before noon. A U-Haul truck got wedged under the bridge. It's happened more times than we can keep up with at this point, and fixing the bridge is not as easy as you may think. Several months ago, we asked Augusta Traffic Engineering about the options. One of those, raising the bridge. They said that would cost millions, and since the bridge belongs to the railroad, it would be their responsibility to do that, and it would be a complicated process. Lowering the road would lead to a lot of flooding. No bond for two parents arrested for the second time in 2 years for the suspicious death of their baby. Selena Tyler and Tyrone Scott are still in jail for the death of 6-month-old Samson Scott. Back on October 18th, Samson was pronounced dead at Augusta at AU Medical Center after the parents told deputies they'd left him alone on a reclining couch in the living room, according to an incident report from the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Samson was the younger brother of Travis Scott, who also died February 13th, 2021, after the parents were accused of repeatedly turning off the ventilator of the boy who'd been born prematurely. Each parent is being held in Richmond County Jail on a charge of cruelty to children in the second degree, as well as a grand jury arrest warrant. We have new information on the suspected murder-suicide in Ohio that left 4 people dead and a 20-year-old fighting for her life. They're all members of the same family. Investigators say Teresa Kane shot her husband, who's from Augusta originally, their children, and her father on Monday. Courtney King sat down with the sheriff, and he says it comes as a shock.
It just doesn't make sense.
In his more than 30 years on the force, Sheriff Steve Leahy says Monday's murder-suicide is the worst crime scene he's ever seen.
You kill your family.
Investigators say Teresa Kane shot and killed 4 members of her family. The sheriff says investigators don't understand why, because they had been in contact with her about a bank taking over her home.
She has been cooperative. She was cooperative the entire time, setting up times, and was quite aware of the process.
The sheriff says the deputies arrived at the Kane family's Ohio Township home to deliver them the papers.
You know, she agreed to a date and time, and that so it would be. She said that she might need a couple more hours or an hour to get some other things, but that basically she was going to be out.
The sheriff says they think Teresa shot everyone minutes before deputies arrived, killing her husband Stephen first.
And then within a series of minutes that the rest of the family was killed, and we believe that this occurred within minutes of our civil deputies' arrival.
Teresa's father, 74-year-old William Felton, and her 13-year-old son Ethan Kane were also found dead at the scene, but her 20-year-old daughter Samantha lived.
We spotted her on a robot, and then as we're checking the interior house and securing it,
Samantha remains in critical condition. The sheriff says he prays for her every day. He says they want to interview her as soon as she wakes up and is able to speak to them.
She now is going to be the only person who truly knows factually what happened.
It's such a devastating story, and the sheriff is asking for people to pray for Samantha's recovery. Meanwhile, Wanda Garrison, Ethan's sister, says work is still being done to bring them back to Augusta. Georgia state lawmakers are considering a bill to stop hair discrimination. The Crown Act is meant to create a respectful and open world for natural hair. It passed in the House last year, but it never passed the Senate. It means your boss cannot say you have to relax your hair or tell you that you can't wear protective styles like Bantu knots.
If you're getting up and you have 2, 3 kids in the morning and you have to look presentable every day and face people every day, then maybe it's easier for you to have a protective style. If you're not able to do that, then it makes life a little bit harder. And then you can't do your job, perfectly when you go in there because you're too stressed about your morning.
The Crown Act is being considered in the Insurance and Labor Committee. Still to come on News 12 live at 5. If you're sniffing, sneezing, and coughing, you're not alone. Experts telling you about the early pollen season coming up.
And that pollen count is very high this afternoon with the very gusty winds that we've seen so far, but luckily we are bringing in some rain that should help wash that out. I'll look at the full forecast just after the break.
If you're a Georgia Power customer, your bill could be going up as much as $23. All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're looking at ways you can lower your bill and keep on your lights.
Time and temp.
Plenty of sunshine in store. Just make sure you are staying weather aware the rest of this evening and early tonight. Looking ahead to next week, we should stay with those warm temps at least through Wednesday, but a little bit cooler as we head to next week around 7 days from now.
Oh, is your car looking a little yellow? Well, you're not alone. We know it's pollen. It's impacting everyone out there. Meteorologist Hannah Harding talked to a local allergy immunologist about some of the issues you might be having.
Pollen. It's everywhere, and it's already causing a lot of issues, especially for those of us with bad allergies. But the real question is, how much worse is it going to get?
It's crazy, you know, it's just turned March, right? And we're already seeing tons of it. I feel like I only expect this, like, closer to Masters.
And with all this pollen comes different issues for allergy sufferers.
Allergic rhinitis, which is nasal allergy that most people are familiar with. Allergic asthma can be impacted, and then there are people who when they're exposed to pollen, have trouble eating certain foods. It makes their mouth itchy.
But how abnormal is this for our area? And could this be a precursor to a bad allergy season?
Actually, in Augusta, we start seeing tree pollen come out around the end of January, and we're having a little earlier peak, it seems, for some of the things.
Jason Hansen has mild allergies, but sees the impact pollen has on his coworkers.
A lot of people at work, you know, are suffering from the allergies. Just a constant runny nose, itchy eyes.
And when I asked him the worst part about all of this pollen, he says something many of us can relate to.
Probably how dirty everything gets, man. My car is usually red, and right now it's yellow.
So just remember, if the pollen count is high and you have bad allergies, be sure to limit your time outdoors. Reporting in Augusta, Hannah Harding, on your side.
Hang in there. Man, coming up, a preview of Disney's new movie based on its classic theme park ride, Haunted Mansion. Plus, the Josie girls basketball team is one win away from state. We're going to hear from the Lady Eagles as they prepare for tomorrow's state semifinals. Next in sports.
Call about a cooling inspection today. Come in, Mr. Central.
Rebap.com to schedule your free in-home consultation.
What makes me enjoy getting up and coming to work every day is just knowing you're helping someone in a bad situation.
Our main goal is to service and attend to our clients.
A lot of people don't understand how insurance works. For me to help someone understand and navigate that,
if I can have someone come in with a problem and I can come up with a solution,
and the gratitude that clients give you when they get the help that they're needing, that's the main reason.
This is no time for sensible shoes. Join us for Wine, Women, and Shoes at 2 p.m. on Sunday, March 5th at the Augusta Marriott, benefiting the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Augusta, which support critically ill patients and their families. Experience fabulous shopping, wine tasting, a best in shoe contest, savory food bites, a glamorous fashion show, charming soul men, and much more. Get your tickets now at winewomenandshoes.com/Augusta.
Good evening, everyone. It's been an exciting past couple of weeks of playoff action for many of our local high school basketball teams. And while most have already been sent home, there are some that are not ready to pack their bags and clean out their lockers just yet. The Josie Lady Eagles are the last girls basketball team in Augusta still standing, and their next test is in the state semifinals. The Lady Eagles say that they take pride in living in Augusta, where there's such a rich history of tradition when it comes to balling out on the court. There are a few upperclassmen on this year's team who transferred to Josie in recent years, and even though the players might be different, the winning mentality is still the same.
I've known them like literally my whole life, from elementary school on up until this point. And up until the last 2 years, my junior year and my senior year, this is my only 2 years actually playing within my high school. So for us to have known each other for so long and be able to have the opportunity to finish it out together, it's amazing.
The Lady Eagles can punch their ticket to state when they take on Banks County tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. This Class 2A state semifinal will be played at Georgia College and State University in Milledgeville.
All right, thanks, Dan. Loads of new movies are hitting the big screen, from a star-studded scare fest to the life story of a champion boxer, even an ocean adventure down under. There's something for everyone to see. David Daniel has a preview of these new movies.
Oh my God. Is anybody else seeing this?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Be careful. Death lurks around every corner.
Disney has released the first teaser trailer for Haunted Mansion, its latest stab at a movie based on its classic theme park attraction. Prepare to be scared when it hits theaters July 28th.
You made me something once, Doc. You can do it again. It is my destiny to win the heavyweight championship belt again.
Getting into shape for Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world, opening April 28th, was different for Chris Davis than for most big screen boxers.
I didn't wear a ball cap. I cut my hair. I did gain weight, and I gained all the weight myself. Ate 7,000 calories a day to gain the weight. Yeah, 50 pounds in 5 weeks.
My name is Abby Jackson, and I'm 15 years old. I've been studying this bay since I was 8.
The whole reef will be gone.
We'll see about that.
Blueback is about protecting the environment and family relationships. Mia Wasikowska, Radha Mitchell, Eric Bana, and Ilse Fogg star in the Australian drama based on the Tim Winton novel. Blueback is in theaters now. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Remember, the first alert does continue at 2 tonight.
Dinosaur